Hi guys, this is Lily White, the Vice President of External Affairs at the Columbia Chamber of Commerce with another Government Affairs update. Last week, we had City Council on Tuesday, since it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, on Monday. So we kicked off City Council with several public hearings, but we also had the second reading of the adult use marijuana ballot language. So the city will be going after a 3% tax on adult use marijuana in the April ballot. The county will also be going after that and did their first and second reading last week. And the city officially has announced the candidates for the first ward and the fifth ward for the April election of council candidates. So look for more information regarding a candidate forum. Since we will have contested races, you will see a Chamber of Commerce candidate forum. And then at the county level, like I said, the first and the second reading of the adult use marijuana ballot language passed. The county and the city are planning on using very similar language, but it will be two separate ballot initiatives. So you will see both of those at the City of Columbia level and at the Boone County level. If you're one of our members that lives outside of the City of Columbia, several of the other cities and municipalities in the area are considering going after this language as well. So several cities will see this on their ballot language, so make sure you're paying attention. It is two separate issues, but the same language. So we'll go into more detail about that, as well as candidates for an upcoming candidate forum to be scheduled very soon. So be looking for that information. Then the Governor Mike Parson, kicked off the legislative session by giving his state of the state. It was well attended and seemed to have a lot of bipartisan agreement, which can be noted if you go back and watch the speech by both the Democrats and Republicans standing at different times and giving standing ovations for different areas of the speech. But specifically of note that we were paying attention to was that Governor Parson did announce a request for $859 million for an I-70 expansion. He did note specifically Kansas City and Columbia and St. Louis in that expansion. At this time, anything that Governor Parson mentioned for the budget is just a request, and we can see those numbers increase or decrease or be edited at any time during the budget communication. So we noticed the $859 million for I-70. We are going after an I-70 expansion, so we'll be looking to see more language on that. He also mentioned an increase to core funding for adult public universities. So here in Columbia, that would include Moberly Area Community College and the University of Missouri. We're very blessed with more higher education institutions in our community, but those are all private, so they are not publicly funded, but it is a priority of the Chamber of Commerce and Moberly Area Community College and the University of Missouri to go after core increased funding. And so we were very glad to hear Governor Parson say he'd like to do that again. And additionally, he mentioned things such as higher ed infrastructure increases, so things like the reactor at the University of Missouri, as well as infrastructure in broadband for the statewide. So what we normally refer to that in terms you will hear around is end of the road or last mile broadband. It's ensuring that even rural communities and some of our most in need citizens are capable of getting broadband in their homes. We're very fortunate here in the inside cities of Columbia, but we do have parts of our county that are still in need of broadband access. So we'll be following along with that as well. Make sure you keep watching our videos to see any updates on that. The other thing that happened at the state level was committees were announced, so we can now tell which ones of our representatives, but also statewide representatives and senators, have been placed on different committees. Given that we have 5 state representatives and 1 senator, we are well represented across the committees, but we will be tracking that information. If you would like to see which representatives made it on which committees, including our local representatives and senator or across the state, you can find that information at senate.mo.gov or house.mo.gov, and we will be tracking that information to make sure we're talking to the correct representatives and senators. If you are making it your way down to Jeff City, it's really important to see senators and representatives that are not our local representatives but are on committees that we need to be speaking to. So we'll be tracking that information and keeping you guys up to date as the session progresses. We'll be back in February for another update. Because January is such a long month, we will not have a video next week because we do have off for City Council. So we'll see you guys in the month of February, and feel free to reach out at any time with additional questions about our legislative agenda or about the work being done at the city or the county level. Thanks so much.